Hello, I'm Archbishop Eamon Martin. I'm the President of the Irish Bishops' Conference, and I want to speak to you about a forthcoming referendum that's taking place in Ireland on the 22nd of May. The Irish people are being asked to change the meaning of marriage in the Constitution of Ireland. In recent weeks and months, I've received many letters and messages from people asking me as a bishop to explain clearly the Church's teaching on marriage in the context of the referendum. The Irish bishops have already said that we cannot support an amendment to the Constitution which effectively redefines marriage and places the union of two men or two women on a par with the marriage relationship between a man and a woman, which is open to procreation of children. Last year, the bishops at the Extraordinary Synod in Rome said that there are absolutely no grounds for considering homosexual unions to be in any way similar or even remotely analogous to God's plan for marriage and the family. At the same time, the Church emphasises that gay people ought always to be treated with respect and sensitivity. Marriage, we say, is willed by God and instituted and sanctified by God in a way in which God's creation continues in the world. Since time immemorial, Church and state have recognised marriage to be of fundamental importance for children, mothers and fathers, and for society. So to interfere with the definition of marriage isn't a simple or trivial matter. Catholics give marriage the dignity of a sacrament. Pope St. John Paul II, who was remembered as the Pope of the family, he once described marriage as the primordial sacrament, in the sense that it's the original and most ancient sacrament because it belongs to creation itself. The gift of life, which flows from the intimate union of a man and woman in marriage, is a gift from God Himself. Until now, Ireland has accepted that it is in the best interests of society to promote the traditional model of marriage and the family. But the proposed amendment to the Constitution will remove the unique and privileged status in society for the marriage between a man and a woman. This would be, as Pope Francis has recently said, a loss for everyone, especially the young. How have we got ourselves into the situation that when people stand up to guard the dignity of difference between a man and a woman and speak for the traditional definition of marriage, they're often portrayed as being against freedom or against equality? How is it that many people in Ireland today won't even raise these issues in their families or in the workplace for fear of being ridiculed or condemned as homophobic? Many of the arguments being made for the proposed amendment appear to be based on a misunderstanding of equality. It's a fact of nature that same-sex unions are fundamentally and objectively different from the complementary sexual union of a man and woman, which is of itself naturally open to life. What makes marriage unique among other types of relationship is the distinctiveness of the union between a man and woman which is open to life. To remove this specific difference is not, as some people would argue, a development or an evolution of our understanding of marriage. It is rather a very definite break with human history and with the natural institution of marriage, and we end up using the term marriage for something that it is not. During the current debate, I'm very conscious of same-sex partners who love each other and who wish to share their life together. But marriage is about much more than a loving relationship between consenting adults. Marriage has another essential element, the openness to children who are born of the love and sexual relationship of their mother and their father. That's why the state pledges in the first place to guard with special care the institution of marriage on which the family is founded. Because the state favours the marriage of a man and woman open to children because it's for the common good. It not only satisfies individual love and needs, but it also ensures the future of society, and it forms the ideal environment for the development of children. We all know that the marriage relationship doesn't always work out as hoped for. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't continue to hold up the example of a faithful, lifelong and committed relationship between a man and woman in marriage as something beautiful and special, even prophetic in today's culture. So society, I think, should do everything in its power to encourage this unique union, so that as many children as possible can have a mother and father who live together in a relationship marked by stability and love. If society adopts and imposes a new orthodoxy of gender-neutral marriage, being defined as simply the union between any two persons, including a man and a man or a woman and a woman, then it will become increasingly difficult, I think, to speak or teach publicly about marriage as being between a man and a woman. Will those who continue to sincerely believe that marriage is between a man and a woman be forced to act against their faith or against their conscience? I encourage everyone to reflect and pray carefully about these issues before voting on the 22nd of May. It's very important to vote. The effects of this proposed amendment will be far-reaching for this and for future generations. So I invite you, especially in this month of Mary, to pray the Rosary for all the families of Ireland, remembering especially those who are in particular need at this time. May all our families be models of faith, love, and generous service.
That was a message from Archbishop Eamon Martin, Primate of all Ireland.